So do you know what? This is a pretty brutal little corner of YouTube, isn't it? Rather astonishingly, some people don't even like me, and some people will quite regularly, as I said, unbelievably badmouth me for some bizarre reason. But Mozart had his critics too. Anyway, point of this video is the honey badger. What would the honey badger do? So I'm quite inquisitive, and I watch and I observe quite a lot of things, and I'm obsessed with the honey badger. So for people who don't know who he is or what it is, it's a small kind of mammal, very kind of small, ferociously fierce, arguably the most fearless animal on the planet. It will stick its head in beehives and get stung hundreds of times, but it's not bothered, hasn't got time for it. It will quite often fight with lions and come off better. Yeah, it's I've spent hours and hours watching him, and do you know, there's many people on social media that have platforms who really shouldn't have platforms. But we live in a democracy, and we live in the 21st century, and there's not really a great deal, well, there is, but to a certain point, there's not a lot within reason that people can be, obviously when people are calling you paedophiles and all that kind of thing, then, but if basically just people are sitting on the internet day in, day out for the rest of their lives since before Christ, then, it's moral of the story is, I often think, what would the honey badger do? And the truth is, honey badger wouldn't give a shit. It doesn't have time to worry about fighting with lions, or stick his head in beehives, or, that little animal has the charm of a rattlesnake, and it often quite regularly feasts on him. And even though it'll be stung by the king cobra, it'll just pass out for a couple of hours through the venom, and then it'll wake back up and it'll get back to eating its meal again, because it doesn't give a shit. And moral of the story is, we shouldn't give a shit. Hang on 2 seconds. Oh, I'm getting old, my elbows are hurting. So I'm writing a book at the minute on a guy called Mickey Duff. So he was a bit like a little honey badger. He gave that iconic phrase of, if you want loyalty, buy a dog. For the last 3 years of the craze, life in society, they were trying to kill him. In fact, when Ronnie Cray was arrested on May the 8th, 1968, Leonard Nipper Reid, who was a close friend of Duff's, found a letter in Ronnie Cray's Crombie, and it said, "These men must die," and Mickey Duff was top of the list. Jack Spot Comer was another gangster who targeted him. Rocky Marciano put his hands on him. But Duff, he'd only just missed being killed by the Germans by about a year, by the Nazis. So obviously this is why he ended up over here. So, but he led he actually had, in the 80s, I think it was, or late 70s, he got a serious threat to life, which is, back then it was called an Osmond warning. So someone was plotting to shoot him, and he never let any of that crap get to him, and arguably became the biggest influence British boxing has ever seen. And he did it by not giving a shit. He did not care whether he was liked or not. And, there's another saying as well, which is, if people slating you at what you do bothers you, then what you do isn't for you. So, the world produces a lot of absolute morons. And you can't get rid of them all. There's a lot more thick people in this world than there is with half a brain, particularly on this corner of YouTube. So, moral of the story is, what would the honey badger do? And he wouldn't give a shit. And, Mickey Duff, for all the crap he got in his life from that manly industry of testosterone and British boxing and all these kind of people were threatening to kill him, and Mark Taylor put his hands on him in the York Hall, all these kind of things. He just had a sinister smirk and a grin, and he cracked on, and he did his own thing, and he made money, and he's forever remembered. And of course, he's even in Cockney rhyming slang. Mickey Duff means wacky backy. So what would the honey badger do? What would Mickey Duff do? Wouldn't give a shit. Crack on. I wonder who needed to hear that. Sometimes I kind of need to read a little bit of philosophical, inspirational quotes. Oscar Wilde said, there's only one thing worth being talked about, and that's not being talked about. And as I said, there's some people I know it's hard to believe that some people do not like me. They won't see past that like bit of a daft hairstyle, and I'm actually quite a good guy, and if you don't think otherwise, I'm not really bothered, because there's going to be a lot of books coming this year, next year, and forever. Until I get struck by lightning, until a piano falls on my head or something like that, I'm going to continue. And one quote I will put out, and I'm going to use it for Junior Witter's book. So Junior was the very much the bad guy of British boxing when he was about. A bit like Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon. And he said, bad times don't last, bad guys do. So, moral of the story, do not give a shit in life and get on and do your own thing. People have tunnel vision, and the people there and there will fall by the waist sides. And I'll leave you with another quote, Sir Winston Churchill. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones to every little dog that barks. And there's a lot of little dogs on YouTube. Anyway, I'm going to have a documentary. I'm going to watch a documentary. I'm going to sort my hair out. It's a bit like a horror film. I'm going to hang around with the dog. I will be in the old Jewish East End next week. I will be with Frank Warren. I will be with Alex Reid. I'll be doing a few things in London, so there'll be lots of content coming on this channel. So have a wonderful Easter Monday, and just remember, ask yourself, what would the honey badger do?